everybody, welcome to DIY the show. My name is Andrew Lowry. DIY the show is the public act show. We talk about DIY ethics, morals, ideas, and how they relate to your real, actual life. So each week, me, Andrew Lowry, I sit down with a couple of guests, and we talk about why they choose to do it themselves and why it's better than everything else. So without further ado, I want to welcome you all to DIY!
It's time for DIY. It's time for DIY.
My name is Andrew Lowry. As always, I want to thank you all for tuning into the show. Alongside me, I got Oscar playing us in on the house band. I want to thank Bailey and Carby, who else are here. But off the top, I'd like to tell you what the topic is. The topic today is animation. So we're talking about the world of animation when it comes to, on pen and paper or digital animation. All of that stuff is very, very interesting to me. Our good pal and director today, Justin Maloney, brought in some people he knows. And they're going to talk a little bit with us a little later in the show. Also on the show today, we have the Baja Blasters. They're an amazing fucking band, so get psyched up for that. That'll be coming a little later. Always off the top, I like to talk about what I'm thinking about. So as you can tell, I'm a little flustered. I'm a little spazzy right now. And that's because, things fuck up. In your life, you're going to look and you're going to work on projects and you're going to hit walls. You're going to hit speed bumps. You're going to hit roadblocks. Something might not work. Something might not be there when you need it. Someone might bail on you last second. That's what you got to do. You just got to make it work. And that's what I'm always trying to say. Work with what you have around you. If you want to make, especially when we're talking about animation. Animation seems like such a daunting task. I mean, you have to draw every single thing. You have to draw the street lamps. You have to draw the floor. You have to draw the ceilings and the walls. You have to draw every piece of it. And so I feel like with animators, there's always roadblocks. There's always reasons not to do things. And I just want to tell you all that's bullshit. And you should just force yourself through and just keep on keeping on. And eventually your project will come out great and you'll just make it work, right? So that's what we're talking here on DIY. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching in the live stream right now, say what up. We want to hear your comments. Tell us some of your favorite animations below and we'll talk about them here on the show. As always, playing with us today, we have, she's back. She wasn't here last week. You were hungover last week. So Bailey and Duvall is with us. Hey, let's say hi to Bailey, everybody.
Practice the ball!
Hey, Bailey, how are we doing today? How are we?
I'm alright. I'm significantly less hungover than I was last week.
Yeah,
so
we've all been feeling better.
Yeah,
we were also a little worse for weather. So this week's topic is animation. Now, yourself, do you enjoy animation?
I do. I'm a large consumer of anime. I'm
Anime,
a big
nice.
anime fan. Have been for as long as I can remember. So.
What are some of your favorite animes? What are some of the ones that stick out to you?
Well, as far as content goes, I'm a big fan of historical animes. I was a big fan of Rurouni Kenshin, which is all about. You fan?
I'm a base level anime. I'm a plebe when it comes to animation.
It was really good. It
Yeah.
was all about the Meiji era and samurai and stuff like that, based in history. It was really cool.
I love samurais.
It was a good one. Yeah, it's badass.
That's cool. I mean, I've been this person who was younger days. I was very apprehensive towards anime. I kind of just blanket statemented. I was like, not for me.
Was it the fan base that chased you away?
I was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of the actual, but then I realized anime is just a medium like any other medium, like video is, like drawing is. It's just a medium and it's a style that's universal throughout a country. And so what it gives you is this sort of playground to do whatever the hell you want and tell whatever story. It's just the style.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I found the stories I enjoyed, and that's what got me going on anime.
That's the trick, isn't it?
Yeah,
I feel like that's the case with any media content, is just find the content you enjoy, and then it doesn't really matter what the medium is.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. Now, another big fan, looking like the patriotic kabuki warrior right here. Carby, how we doing, Carby? So I want to say real quick, it was Carby's birthday this week.
3 days ago to be precise.
Let's get a big happy birthday for Carby, belated, but who cares? So we're back. It's good to see you, buddy. So how's life? How's the birthday going?
Not half bad. I mean, 3 days have come and went like a bullet. And not to mention, I'm officially a member here.
Nice. Well, welcome to the club at Scott TV.
Not to mention, there was a screening that went down at the Friendly Toast and Kendall Square of Big Trouble in Little China. I probably wasn't going to miss that.
Yeah, of course you're not going to miss that. So, Carby, we're talking about animation. What are some of your favorite animations?
So many, it's not even funny. Yeah, I noticed Duvall's a huge otaku.
Yeah.
It's, the titles you mentioned. I mean, and I know you're into Dragon Ball as well.
Oh, I like me some Dragon Ball.
Yeah. I mean, there's other anime that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, but I'll narrow them down though. And I've got Animaniacs playing up in the screen.
Animaniacs, I think that counts as well. So we got Animaniacs on the video games behind me as well.
And of course another favorite of mine, Akira. Yeah.
Nice.
Also
Akira is one of the best ones. That's one of those ones that I was like, oh, this is art. This is beautiful.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
Yeah, 30 years old, like I am already almost.
Yeah.
I was born like 5 days before it was even out in Japan.
So I feel like you channel a little bit of Akira every day here, Carby.
Yeah, minus the psychic BS. I mean, I kind of feel like Tetsuo inside.
There you go. Very nice. So, lastly on the show, we have he's the house band. He's solo today. He played us in beautifully, all by himself. Oscar in the studio. Oscar, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm okay. I'm alright.
You're all right. So, now we said Chris had died. Chris O'Grady is dead. You heard it here first on DIY the show. He has died from some fart attack, I think I said. I think I said a fart attack. Now, Cliff, he's gone this week. I feel like he suffered the same issue. I think he caught the fart attack virus. Now, do you believe you will catch it next?
I mean, I do eat a lot of beans, but I think I'm gonna be fine.
So Oscar loves beans. That's a new fact we learned on DIY, the show of information.
I mean,
always giving you facts, always giving you the latest news.
No fake news here.
No fake news
None
here.
whatsoever.
No whatsoever.
This isn't the freaking Onion.
I love a good fava bean.
Fava beans,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm fancy with beans.
Fancy beans.
Yeah.
Maybe pintos?
I mean, I'm not a big pinto guy. I'm not a pinto guy.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I like
but
refried. I'll just throw that out there. Cook them twice, just as nice.
Maybe that's a good bean.
How about animations? Let's talk about animations.
This
This isn't the Bean episode. We'll do that this season. Next week, we got the Bean episode. DIY Beans.
Not to be confused with Rowan
Andrew,
Atkinson.
I think you're playing with me. I think you're playing with my emotions. You're underestimating my love of beans.
It's just me and Oscar for a full hour talking about beans and the differences between them.
I'm down.
You're down.
But for
animations, what are some of your favorite
Like you'll be
animations?
talking about Fooly Cooley?
I don't know what is that?
You don't know what Fooly Cooley is?
Oh,
Fooly Cooley!
It's more anime.
Is this basically just anime the
Now
episode?
it is.
I mean, that's what we should just did an anime episode. Not to knock the animators here. They're cool.
They are cool.
Yeah.
We'll
But
see you
I
later.
love, if we're talking about animation, I mean, like, what, Tom and Jerry, that's animation.
Well,
That's
Avatar,
classic. That's
The
classic
Last
animation.
Airbender,
Warner
that's
Brothers,
probably
Disney.
my favorite
It's all like
animation.
cartoon animation.
Home
Like,
movies.
we're talking about cartoons.
Home
I
was a big
thought.
one for me. Home movies was a huge show for me.
Ooh, love home movies.
Ghost in the Shell.
I mean, I don't know. Rick and Morty's pretty good, but you know,
Love Rick
toxic
and Morty.
fan bases or toxic
Cowboy
fan bases.
Adventure Time, Steven
Adventure
Universe.
Time, yeah.
Steven Universe.
Didn't
like-
you tell us this? Who said it earlier that the person who draws Steven Universe originally drew Ed, and Eddie porn, and
Ooh.
someone recently
Ed, and Eddie porn?
found that
Yes,
out.
on Tumblr, right?
On Tumblr,
Yeah, that's right.
Like
So,
Yeah.
Rebecca Sugar.
Yes.
I think that's
Really?
This is the internet
Rebecca.
Yeah, she drew
I'm
her
just
stuff.
Rebecca. No.
repeating the rumors.
That's what I heard too. No, you're
Okay.
If
not.
you're watching on Facebook right now, Google search it and tell us if we're right about this because we need to know.
I don't want to
And
know.
tell us in the
Again,
comments too, because
Tell
we
us in the
don't know.
comments. Bailey will let us
And also,
know.
the things in the Onion.
This show is off the rails. Either way, right now on the show, we got a band in with us. We're going to talk a lot more about animation a little bit later. But right now, I want to give to you the Baja fucking Blasters in the studio. Let's hear it loud and clear. Let's hear it, everybody. Wow, wow, wow.
Don't be afraid, it's not your fault. Don't be ashamed of your Pennsylvania, you made us. Pennsylvania, you tore us apart. Completing gas station chains drove us right through the belly of our hearts. No charts, no graphs, no science, no math, so little distraction. It's a great big state divided into warring factions. I know that you will come around. I'll be waiting at the Wawa on my side of town. I know that you'd rather burn it down, but I can't live off sheets forever.
God, guys, that was the Baja Blasters. That was fucking awesome. They're killing it in the studio today. They got much more songs for us a little later. But right now, I got with me Steven Muchiri. I said it so wrong. I said it, what? No,
Yeah.
What is it? I got it?
It's Muchiri.
Muchiri.
Yes.
Steven Muchiri in the studio with us. Let's hear it for Steven, everybody. So, Steven, we were talking, Justin had said, Maloney, our director who got you in here, that it was a crazy one today. Are you feeling the craziness thus far?
Yeah, this is exciting, you know.
This is exciting. I love it. I love it.
Creatives, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen every day.
So you're an animator yourself, correct?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got started in animation.
So right now I work as a motion graphic artist.
Okay.
But my skill is in what you call a story artist.
Yeah.
So that's just like a portion of what animation is in its entirety, because when you say animator, it means a lot of things.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know,
And I think the whole thing with motion graphics, that's a huge industry now. Like, weirdly, like, people don't want just words on it. They want it moving and flashing and stuff like that. So, any sort of, like, how did you get started in animation? What sort of got you going and interested in this stuff?
So my background is I was a canvas painter. I used to do a lot of acrylics, watercolor washes,
Wow,
those kind
awesome.
of things. But you know, at the same time, I was also reading a lot into the changing times, you know. And so I realized that you know, the tools have to change.
Yeah.
So the artist also has to change with the tools.
That's
so
a great,
animation requires complex tools. So I one day I just realized that nobody goes to the galleries anymore. People go to the movie theaters.
There you go, man.
So I was like, well, I think I'm going to get irrelevant. Might as well learn the new tools.
It is a little sad though. I do like me a good art museum. So, but you know what you should do? You got to combine it, man. Make digital canvases and then do like animated watercolors.
I mean, that's Photoshop for you.
Modern Monet. That's what you do. Just make it moving.
Yeah, Photoshop is a digital canvas.
Oh,
you have
100%.
Yeah, you have your brushes, you have your pencils.
Yeah.
So it's but what makes an artist is now what's happening in his mind.
Yes.
His psyche.
Yes.
His interpretation of life. And now that requires a different spin. Now.
That is true.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve, you're speaking my language, buddy. This is what I love talking about. We get way too heady about being an artist on this show.
Yeah, I mean, I think that work is driven by the something higher than the personality.
Yes.
So you need to have you know, a vision. You know, that's the first step, right?
Yeah.
And then once you have the vision, now it's figuring out, okay, how do you get from point A to point B?
Exactly.
Let's say, if I don't have a story, how do I move from not having a story into having one?
See, and I think that's really important. You know, I feel like a lot of modern, popular films or shows or things in general rely a lot on explosions, excitement, and for me, looking at you specifically. But for me, I am a total nerd for story. I mean, I love high concept depth into my storytelling. Now, as a story animator, is that something, is telling the tale like one of your favorite parts?
So, okay, the basis of a story artist is that this is someone with a lot of information. So how do you get the information is either you read a lot, or if you're not really good at reading, then you have to be a very good observant human being, right?
Yeah.
You have to learn how to be present around people, observe how they behave, their body language, how they interpret, you know,
like an artistic anthropologist almost?
Exactly, yeah. You have to do man watching. I think that's the
exactly.
word. I'm not sure, but in psychology, there's something like called man watching.
Yeah.
Or nature watching, or
People
bird
watching,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. You must have space for just emptying yourself.
Yes.
And then when now you really understand what you are seeing, then you start embodying it in your artwork.
That's very true. That's very true.
That's the first step.
It's sort of like channeling influences. You know, I think a lot of people look at creative stuff and they're kind of like, everything's been done. How can I do something original? But like the key is you're sort of taking those influences and distilling them through your lens and then putting back out there your art, you know?
Exactly. And you see, the artist is a filter.
Yeah.
So this is reality, the artist, and then reality has to project through him.
Yeah.
And so, so the first thing is you have to understand your content. So let's say if, he mentioned Tom and Jerry, right?
Yeah.
So you have to study first how cats move.
Yeah.
On a basic level.
Yeah.
And then the spin now is how do you personify the cat? You know, make it feel like alive.
Is he like a
you know?
cocky cat? Is he
Exactly,
cool?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's what in Disney they discuss. It's called the illusion of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
I mean,
the-
are you a big fan of Miyazaki films? Studio Ghibli, any of those,
Spirited
like
Away.
Ponyo, Spirited Away, those sort of? Oh, you got to get on that level, Steven. Big recommendation. Go home, watch a Ghibli movie. You will be blown away. So Studio Ghibli, like, they'll do the reflection of the, like, someone's eyeglasses and how the picture warps in the animation or over water, like how the reflection warps. I mean, that's the crazy thing with animation you're saying. So not only are you thinking, how does this cat move? How does its fur move? What does it do with its mouth or its eyebrows, like, big or small? You know, it's like all these sort of elements. It's so crazy to me. Now, are there any sort of influences that sort of got, like we're saying, it's sort of the artist is the filter. Is there any sort of influences you have early on that contribute to your animation style?
Yes, so basically the classical artists like Raphael.
Okay, yeah.
So why is because I feel like classical artists were very good at posing.
Mm-hmm.
And so in one still frame, the story is complete. You know,
Yeah.
It doesn't need any extra
Exactly.
motion because they really distilled things in one frame.
Yeah.
But then over time, I started, modern history now. I started looking at the great Frank Frazetta. Frank Frazetta was a really great painter, but he was also dabbling with surrealism.
Yeah.
So that kind of takes me back to Salvador Dali.
Yeah, I
Max
like
Ernst, and those
I
kind
like
of
a
people.
little weirdness to my
Yeah,
style, for
exactly.
sure.
You need a little bit of weirdness.
Yeah.
I think everyone is weird.
Everybody
It's
is
just-
weird.
There's no one who's not weird.
It's just about presenting it.
And have you accepted your weird side?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Now, is there any sort of like maybe modern animations you enjoy? Anything you're sort of like, that's a solid animation?
I feel like How to Train Your Dragon is a classic.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
surprisingly amazing.
I feel like that was done well, but also because a lot of people are involved in it.
Yeah.
It's a high budget story. But let's see, like low budget stories, yeah, there are some really good animes.
Yeah.
Like the story artist really took time to figure out the logic.
Yeah.
How the fight sequence. So it's not just all explosions and blood, but
Yeah.
there's a certain sequence and harmony and rhythm to it.
Well, because you have so
to
much
song.
room with the medium. You can draw whatever you imagine,
Yeah.
With this show, we do have a green screen where we're projecting some goofy stuff behind us. But, I mean, I can't grow 2 more arms and be Goro if I wanted to. But, I mean, Justin, can we get that working on, Justin? All right, cool. But, I think that's what the amazing thing about animation is that it allows each one of us to tap into our imaginations and take it to the furthest realms.
Exactly.
Now, for people maybe like who are first starting out as animators, what are some like small steps they can do to get started?
I think the first thing is start reading.
Yeah.
I know it seems weird. I say that I'm not asking you to grab a pencil. No, I feel like technique follows ideas. So idea is the idea of form follows function.
Yeah.
If you don't have the form in here, you cannot function as an artist. The really great artists are really informed people.
Yeah.
Either read a lot or, like I said, study life in depth. Pick physics for crying out loud and start reading physics.
Yeah.
And that kind of opens your mind now to the higher aspects of imagination.
Very true.
And then technique is secondary.
Exactly.
Because in animation, there is always this concept of even if you have the best animation and you have a really bad story, people will just see the bad story. They're just gonna say, I mean, the animation is great, but they forget about it.
It's the same with video now, man. I mean, people are down to just film. Like, I could do this show on my cell phone. I feel like people would be like, "Oh, it looks great, Andy. It looks great."
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. But if the content's there,
there's no inner movement.
No.
I see animation is trying to create a movement inside the person. So the audience has to be moved. Like if you're animating a sad scene, so what elements make people sad? And you can go cliche.
Yeah.
And people will be like, lazy
Yeah,
artist.
lazy
But if
artist.
you really take time to think about it, wow.
Yeah.
I've seen people respond.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to show not just the physical emotion, but like the setting of that emotion. So if
Exactly.
someone's sad, they're alone in their kitchen at the coffee or
Yeah.
at the kitchen table, just looking sad at a coffee cup, and you
Exactly.
know that person
Yeah,
is.
that-
I'm not describing something I did last night. I'm not at all describing something I did last night.
I think
Well,
but
yeah,
if
but-
you cannot feel it,
Yeah.
you cannot express it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
So how do you get yourself to the point of feeling it? Well, that's the second step, technique.
Yeah.
Now you have to practice. So like if you're a warrior or a cameraman or you talk to people,
Yeah.
So you really have to start practicing, either in front of a mirror,
Yeah.
What's your body language? You have to really understand
Oh, I
yourself
do that.
first. You have to really spend
Yeah.
time with yourself.
I hate spending time with myself.
And that's
I do it too much. I do it way too much. We gotta have a break, Andy. I'm talking to you right now. Maybe we need some time apart. I'm just kidding.
but that's equivalent to meditation.
That's exactly. You
have to
totally
spend
right.
time on your
You have
own
to
first.
immerse yourself.
You have to, yeah.
I'm always just. I talk about doing it yourself all the time with random people. I ask random people I just meet on the street. I'm like, how do you walk like that? Tell me, or just weird stuff like that. But
Exactly.
Steven, I honestly, I love the way you conceptualize art. Honestly, it's the same way I think of it. You think of it as not only just something you do, but as a practice in your life. You talking about like the deeper Zen-like elements that
Yeah.
comes to being an artist, and
Exactly.
I think that's amazing. Now, where can we find? Do you do animations? Do you have anywhere online we can find some of your stuff?
Yes, so right now I have a website called it's www.africanartist.space.
Africanartist.space?
I'll share the link with you.
Yeah,
after the
send me
show,
the
so-
link. We'll share it out on the page a little
Yeah,
later. Get some
yeah,
animations on
yeah.
there. Also, in the future, we show animations on the show. You should send some our way. We'll play them on air.
Well, this is the first time,
Yeah,
There's always the first time
exactly.
to everything, and then, we can build
I
up
used to
on
be
that.
Cool. So you mind hanging out a little later? Maybe talking a little bit more?
Yeah.
Awesome,
definitely,
Steve. So we got Steven here with me. We got plenty more show. I got Alex coming up next. We're going to be checking out his light board. And we got some animations for you submitted by the viewers, you guys out there. We got animations for you. Oscar, you want to give me some songs? It's time for DIY. Go to a break. Whoa, Steven. That was awesome, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. time for DIY.
Hey everybody, welcome back to DIY the show. My name is Andrew Lauer. We were definitely on the ball on that one. Anyway, we're here talking animation today on the show. I just talked with Steven. He had some great things to say. To continue up on that, we have Alex Keown in the studio. Let's hear for Alex, everybody. Nice clap. Alex, how's it going? How are you? You're wonderful. So Alex, you're an animator. Tell me a little bit about yourself, how you got started in animation.
Let's see. I started animating right after college. I went to school for film.
Okay.
And I realized it was really hard to get a group of people together to make a movie. And what I discovered is I could make my own movies if I just drew them all.
I think that's great. It's like, so last week we had DIWHY on the show, and he's a one-man band. I think it's the kind of the same deal. You're sort of one-man banding it. It is tough to find people to do things, especially when you say it's free and it's like every Saturday and like all the equipment's not going to work and it'll make your life really hard. Looking at you, crew. I love y'all. But Alex, you know, doing animation, what are some of the things that got you into it? What are some of the things that got you started?
Yeah, so there is that aspect of being able to do the whole entire film by yourself. I also really like to draw, and I like to do DIY projects. And I think that my animation is pretty DIY.
So we were projecting some of your animations behind us on the background. They were robots dancing. Now, tell us a little bit about that. Like dancing robots, where's that coming from?
So that was part of a rave visual that I did, actually. Ooh. So I did a 20 minutes of dancing robots that looped, and it was a visual for this party that I put on. But I did that, actually, that's a piece of digital artwork that I did, and I did that with Blender, which is an open source, totally free 3D software that you can use. And I just, for a DIY artist, like, to go out and buy like the professional stuff, and by the way, Blender is like just as good as the professional software, would cost thousands and thousands of dollars, but you can just download this for free and learn a lot.
See, that's awesome. We're always looking for tips, so check out Blender if you're trying to do some 3D animation. Now, next to us now, we have a piece of physical stuff for animation to segue very smoothly. So what is this we're sitting here looking at right now?
Okay, so this is the old school, and this is how I started animating.
Oh, there we go. What's this book? We need to recommend this.
I want to recommend this book if you're looking to learn more about animation and the underlying principles. The Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams. This is like my Bible.
Thanks, Richard Williams. Shout out to Richard Williams. If you're watching, we like your book. So, Alex, when it comes to animation now, for those who aren't familiar with this, which I don't think many, I mean, I understand it's a box with a light in it, but so what is the actual use for this when it comes to animation?
This is so that you can stack frames of animations, drawings on top of each other, and you can trace them, and then by, compiling many drawings and putting them into a computer or some kind of software and putting them on a timeline together, they make a seamless, smooth motion.
So this is the way like the early Disney films, Cinderella, Snow White, I mean, most classical animation was done with this sort of setup.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of examples you can show us? I see you have a little binder of papers.
So the director, Justin, and I worked on a project last fall where I did some hand-drawn animation for him.
Oops No Cereal, check it out. It's on YouTube. Search it after the show, not right now, but Oops No Cereal, Justin Maloney, shout out to you and your fake cereal.
J-Bone for life.
J-Bone for life. For life. So we got some animations here. My weird talk aside. So why don't you just show us, we'll lay him down, we'll see. So this is a cartoon chef. Now, if anybody, I feel like we got a Chef Boyardee vibe on this.
Yeah, and sort of a Super Mario as well. I was working off of Justin's drawings, and so it introduces this character in his kitchen, and he's spinning around, and he's kind of clumsily juggling these bowls on top of each other. So right here I have, yeah, I can, if I do maybe like 10 frames, we can see the transparency.
Yeah, let's see it. So this is some cool stuff, guys. So at home, it looks really simple. Literally, it's just a piece of plexiglass with a clamp light underneath. This is something anybody can do. So if you could see here, if we're getting it on the camera, you could see the sort of drawing move. Here, I'll let you explain. I'm not good at this.
So for this is So he does like a whole 360 in this shot, and it loops. It's like maybe a 2-second shot with maybe 60 frames of animation. And so it's very slow, and we're only seeing a few frames here, but you can kind of start to see the motion.
So, I mean, for any of those who have ever made a flip book in high school or elementary school, this is basically the same idea, where you just sort of take every frame. You know, I was talking with Steven, we were talking about the sort of, you know, you have to think about every element when it comes to animation. Even with that, you know, it's just a goofy chef moving around, but you have to think about, you have a stack of bowls. You have to think about which way each bowl goes per time. Yeah, right. You have to think about, how does his mustache move frame to frame?
If the bowls are going out this way, he's sticking his butt out this direction and then like swinging around. And
I've also heard that animators make a lot of funny faces when they're alone. Is that a very true statement?
I need a mirror right next to me so I can be constantly referring to what my...
Let's see. Go into camera 2 right there. Alex, if you want to give me some of your favorite cartoon faces.
Oh, we had this one in this where he actually comes up and like, so I do a lot of like squash and stretch.
Oh, like
wow.
Oh, wow.
Good at timing.
Is this good? Is this good for cameras? Yes. Yes. Alex says yes. So, Alex, now how much did it actually cost to make this?
This cost nothing to make besides the glass. I think I spent $40 on. So this is my rig.
Here, you hold the mic.
Sorry. This is my rig. I have a milking stool that I sit on, and I've been animating on this light table for about 12 years now. So I've spent many hours on my milking stool. And, can you?
Yeah. I'll hold the mic.
Okay. So this is the thing that cost $40. This is just a piece of frosted glass.
Frosted.
And you can just go to a glass shop and just custom order one. And then underneath, I just have a clamp lamp that you'd work on your car with.
Here you go. Perfect.
But that gives me enough light to just be able to see frames on top of each other.
And people sell light tables for like thousands and thousands of dollars, and you made something for practically nothing. I mean, if you have a frosted window in your house, potentially you could just take that out and just use that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's animation is not expensive to get into.
Very cool. So Alex, if we were looking to find out maybe more about you and your animations, where could we go online?
You can type my name, Alexander Keown, into YouTube, and I have videos up there.
Awesome. I think we're going to be playing a lot of Alex Keown videos on the show, as well as some Steven videos as well. We're actually going to go to an animation right now. This is something I said I would never do. We're playing something I actually made on the show. So Justin Maloney, this is his episode. He booked the guest. He took care of everything, figuring it out. We actually did a music video a while back for my band called Fort the Band, where Justin animated the entire thing. It's crazy. He did it all in After Effects. I don't understand how it all works, but he killed it. So we're going to watch a music video that I'm in. This is Fort the Band, Livin' La Vida Squatch. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Alex and Steven on the couch, and we still got more Baja Blasters, so see ya. It's DIY, everybody. I like your lights. This is swell. Can I make shadow puppets? Oh, cool.
It's time for DIY.
Hi everybody, my name is Andrew Lowry. Welcome back to DIY the show. Today on the show we're talking about animation. I introduced you to Alex and Steven. They were nice enough to come in. Now we're going to all talk together about animation. So they're back here with me. Let's hear it for our guests here back on the show. So Alex, Steven, how are we now that we've gotten into the thick of it? So we're talking about animation. One of the things Justin wanted me to bring up is the idea of, dealing with budget constraints. So when you're creating an animation, a lot of the time you're kind of doing a sort of balance between time and money and the actual ability of what you're doing. So have either of you run into any of that?
Yeah, time.
Yeah. So what is some of the sort of sacrifices you'll make when it comes to the animation? What are some of the sort of lines you'll try to tide?
Oh man, whether to go out and socialize or not with your friends, or stay hunched over your light table for hours.
Yeah, that's very fair.
So yeah, for me, it's never like a monetary thing really. Animation, it is just like giving up a lot of time to work on your projects.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, animation is probably one of the most time-consuming mediums you can choose to be in.
So you need to really plan. Also, the planning has to be rigorous.
Yeah.
So because if you can't just start animating without knowing where the end game is going.
Very
to be.
true.
Otherwise
Very
you're
true.
Gonna run yourself.
Yeah, you got to have that sort of plan going ahead, right?
Yeah,
That's very cool.
definitely.
So now, is there any sort of times when you've like run into something like maybe a project that you really want to finish, maybe like time constraints or life constraints sort of get in the way? Like, is there a dream project you guys have stored up in your brains?
Yes.
If you don't want to reveal it, if you don't have it copyrighted yet, it's fair. I totally understand.
No, yeah, definitely. There are certain ideas, but either you lack the resources or you're not skilled enough.
Yeah.
So you have to be humble enough to accept that I'm not skilled enough for this idea.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm trying to work my way into building that skill level to
Nice.
what I want in my head.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. How about for you, Alex?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like the time constraints, and sometimes it's best to actually give yourself a deadline too. And
Yeah.
because with a lot of these personal passion projects, they can go on and on, especially with animation. Like you'll put down the drawings for a while, and then it's hard to pick them back up and keep drawing. So I think giving yourself a deadline, or like I'm gonna finish this by the end of fall or before like the new year or something. I think deadlines can be pretty helpful.
When I think I mean, you have to create realistic sort of like goal points for yourself. With this show, when we were first getting it going, it took a full year of sort of just BSing behind the scenes to make anything real. But then when I went, all right, I booked the studio, we have to go, then it became real.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's kind of like taking that first jump, leaping right in, that I think is really the important part.
And it's also building up discipline,
Yes.
So there's a book written by I think Stephen Pressfield,
Okay.
The War of Art.
Okay.
And it's just art, like for the artist, the technical artist, but it's for everyone, the businessman, that you have to pick a battle, plan it, and see it through to its end. And then, so that's the thing. You have to really practice discipline. Discipline is something you practice, something that's, snapsy.
No, it's not at all. Trust my bank account on that one. It's bad. But discipline and working in sort of like, for me with the show, we have sort of this strict, like discipline of when I know I have to start booking, when I know I have to start editing, when I know I have to start working on this, and I think that's really important. Now, when with animation, you guys are drawing for hours on hours on hours. Now, my girlfriend is an artist herself. She's not here this week, but she draws and watches TV in the background or listens to music. What are some of the sort of things you do to sort of keep that sort of focus and keep from like just sheer silence at all times? Or are you guys just there with the metronome just like... I think Steven is.
Yes, you're right. Actually, yeah.
You actually are.
I shut down everything.
You shut down
even
everything?
listen to music. I want to participate in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I don't distract myself.
So do you know who Rivers Cuomo is? You know the band Weezer? So there's a band called Weezer, and the lead singer's name is Rivers Cuomo. He lived here in Boston, and when he wrote the first album of their band, he painted his dorm room at Harvard all black, blacked out the windows, and wrote the whole. It was the Blue Album, right? Or was it Pinkerton? It was the Blue Album, or It was Pinkerton. Pinkerton. The Baja Blasters say it's Pinkerton. They changed their name, so they say it's Pinkerton. So I understand that completely. That sort of isolation that sort of creates this focus bubble and almost like meditation. I feel like you're getting into a meditative state.
That's it, yeah. So for me, I just plan a time when I'm not stressed out, and then I just spend that time, and then after I'm done, I'm done. That's the problem is as soon as I stop animating, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to do something else completely and not.
I think that is important.
Multitask.
You don't want to bring your work home with you, or at least like kind of cross-contaminate in that way.
Yeah.
And I also think it helps you free yourself after, because you're in such a hard focus mode. You don't want to continue that afterwards. You know what I mean? You want to just let loose and have some fun. I kind of want to call you like an animator monk, Steven. Like you kind of sound like the techniques you're using. This is what I'm trying to find inner peace. I'm really. This is like I want to just talk to you about like Zen shit. Like after the show, I want to go into like how can I just like be less stressed, buddy? Because I think you got it figured out.
I think
Alex,
all creatives are like that.
Yeah.
I think
Yours truly
it's
included.
just maybe I talk about it more.
Yeah.
I'm able to talk about my problems. I don't hide that. My creative
No, exactly.
issues.
And that's the best way to work through it, man. I think philosophy and artisticness is like intertwined 100%, always will be.
Definitely.
Now, Alex, how about you? What are some now he says he shuts himself down. Do we have the opposite fact here?
Avid podcaster. Honestly, I'm probably going to rinse through your entire backlog after this next week.
Perfect. So what are some of the things you sort of is it strictly audio podcasts or maybe
audio podcasts. I just finished listening to Stuff You Should Know, like that really long running podcast.
You should listen to History on Fire.
Oh, I should.
History on Fire is really good.
That is one I've
and
become.
Hardcore History too.
Yes, I've listened to a few episodes there.
Listen to all these podcasts.
Podcasts are a good way to.
I'm kind of not into podcasts. Okay. Does that make me mean?
No. Just uncultured swine.
I need video. I don't know. We did a podcast. Shout out. You can go to DIWHY.com and we got podcasts on there too. They're garbage. I don't know. I do like podcasts. I have ones I like, but if I'm going to sit down and do so, I guess with you with animating, you want to listen to it. I want to watch something. I need to jump in. I'm an obsessive pop culture nerd, so whatever. Hot take aside, let's kind of keep it rolling. So for either of you, when it comes down to animation, now, is there any sort of follies people run into a lot of the time? Is there any sort of mistakes you see a lot of animators doing early on?
Yeah, I think, the only way to learn animation is by doing, like so many things. But, if you want to learn animation, you can start by reading, and you can watch tutorials and things, but you're never gonna retain anything until you've actually put your hands on the page and actually done the work. So
that's the best tip. That's if I just add on to what he's saying is you have to risk doing bad work.
Yep.
Everyone hopes that people are just gonna go on YouTube and see your stuff and you have 1 million likes. But I've experienced the opposite.
Yep.
You have to be courageous. That's the thing. You have to really be happy just failing, and that's what most people are afraid of doing.
Yeah,
so
exactly. We talk about that all the time on the show. I think, when it comes to stuff like bands and stuff, you got to be willing to play to nobody. When it comes to animations, you got to be willing to just finish it. A great piece of advice I got early on in my music career was a friend of mine told me, you need to just write songs. You need to just finish them. If you repeat the chorus twice at the end, you repeat the chorus twice at the end, and it's a song, And so it's just about getting that thought out of your brain and out into the world, and then you could go to the next one.
Exactly.
And every failure is another success down the road. So keep on keeping on.
Motivational.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Trying.
Yeah, you can't not try. Don't tell me what I can't do. John Locke Lost, quoted right here. So I also want to ask, That audible snort was awesome. But I also want to ask, we're getting close to the end of the interview. I've had such a great time talking to both of you. Now, I always leave my viewers, my audience, with one last piece of advice you'd give to an artist starting out. Now, I know I asked both of you the same question, but if there's anything else maybe out there you think, maybe not only just as an animator, but maybe as just a generic creative person, what are something you'd give someone, maybe in a similar place as yourself, you'd wish you'd heard?
Well, I would say, and I think you'll agree with this, that drawing is a really important part of visual art.
Yes.
And
I do it all the time too.
Yeah, whether it's animation or even like if you're making video games or anything, try to draw every day. That would be my
Get some references.
Draw every day, make things happen. That's a good piece of advice.
Get some
right
references.
there. Yeah. So Stephen, how about you?
I think for me is first of all, yes, drawing, but mostly is your attitude.
Yeah.
You have to expose yourself and accept criticism. Now that's really hard for most creatives.
Yes.
Across the board, whether you're a guitarist or you have to really expose yourself and suffer the backlash of either nobody didn't like your work or they think it's crappy animation or they think you're lazy.
Yep.
And then use that as fuel now to, okay, how do I get this to the next level? Not caring about it, just using it to add on to yourself and then doing what you really want.
Yeah, I think that's really, it's humility is what you're talking about. It's being able to be self-aware that you might not be like a perfect person 24/7.
That's how I roll too.
Yeah, and I think if I want to go on a side and talk about Trump supporters, that's really what I feel like a Trump supporter comes from. You see yourself in Trump, and if Trump fails, you fail, and maybe you should realize you're not Trump and you are failing, and you should do better. Hot take aside, I want to thank you both for coming on. We can go to both your websites. I'll be sharing those links in the YouTube description as well as I'll share them later off. Hopefully we'll see some animations from them later in the show. Right now we have another user-submitted animation. I want to cut to that, and when we come back, we got the Baja, aka Baja Blasters in the studio. Oscar, you want to play me out? Woo! Oh wait, you know what? Where'd it go? Oh, you know what I got? What was that smoke? Will, was that too close to the microphone?
Pedro tomou conta dos porcos. Por isso ele foi chamado Pedro dos Porcos. Um dia um homem veio oferecendo-se para comprar os porcos. Gostaria, se faz favor, comprar 6 porquinhos jeitosos. Pedro disse que podia vender 3, mas tinha de ficar com os rabos e orelhas deles. O homem pagou Pedro e saiu com os seus porcos. E que bando triste eles pareciam, sem as orelhas e rabos.
Mestre, alguma coisa aconteceu para os porcos.
Mas o que é que aconteceu?
Eu não sei.
Anda a casa a apanhar as 2 pás.
Para cavar os porcos fora?
Sim, tu! Anda!
O mestre quer que você me dá as 2 bolsas de ouro debaixo da cama.
Como é? As 2?
Pé dele.
Ei! Queres que eu dê-lhe as 2? Sim, mulher! Vai-te andar!
E assim Pedro tomou para o caminho com as suas riquezas novas. Agora, aconteceu que o ladrão tinha matado um veado mais cedo e teve o seu fígado em sua blusa. Atirando-la, disse:
Também precisas de deixar de seu filho se queres me apanhar!
Então Pedro agarrou a navalha e cortei fora seu filho. E claro, caiu morto. O mestre, que tinha percebido que foi enganado, estava à procura de seu servo. Oh Pedro, foste afiado, mas achaste alguém mais afiado. E assim é a vida.
DIWHY. It's time for DIWHY.
Everybody, welcome back to DIY the show. My name is Andrew Lowry. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us today. I want to thank Steven and Alex for being amazing guests talking to us about animation. Look them up on the internet. We'll be sharing links and find out everything they do. At the end of the show, I always like to leave you with something I've been thinking about. So what I learned today on the show is that you can just make magic happen with nothing. You can just fuck around and have everything fuck up on you and still make a quality show. And that's what we tried to do for you today. So I hope we accomplished that. Leave a note in the comments if we did okay with the shit we have going on. Either way, I want to end the show. I got the Baja Blasters, aka the Skaha Blasters, aka the Killer Willer Baja Fillers, aka the number 3 with the Baja Blast, the Crunchwrap Supreme, Double Stuffed Taco Supreme, Taco Bowls. I'm just gonna enchiladas. I'm just gonna list the entire Taco Bell menu. Throwback to the Mexican pizza. Anybody remembers that? But either way, let's hear for the Baja Blasters live on DIY. Yeah, let's hear it for the Baja Blasters in the studio. That was awesome, guys. That was freaking an amazing performance. Now, do we also have technical issues as well?
Oh, yeah, you know it.
Welcome. It's just cursed today. It's just cursed today. Yesterday was Friday the 13th. Today is Saturday the 14th. Thank you, Jason Voorhees. Thank you for all the fuck-ups. Either way, that was a fucking amazing performance. I want to thank you, Baja Blasters, for coming up. Oscar, you want to give me some tunes, buddy? All right, we want to sing the theme song together. You want to sing with me, Scott? Here we go. DIWHY. It's time for Alex, Steven, Carbia. Everybody, let's come on up. All right, anybody got any shout-outs? Hey, you got a shout-out?
Yeah, shout out to Super Jerk.
Super Jerk, shout-out. We love them. Scott, you got a shout-out?
Shout out to Snoopy and Moomin.
Snoopy and Moomin. Alex, how about you? Any shout-outs?
Shout out to my mom and Skim to Milk, my girlfriend.
Nice. Okay, in the back, we got any shout-outs?
Big D and the Kids Table.
Rep it. Pick it up, boy. Steven, you have any shout-outs?
To my wife and Ziwa and Malik.
Ziwa and Malik, shout-outs. Sherry in the back, you got any shout-outs?
Shout out to Otto and my roommates for coming to this.
Hey, Otto and the roommates, you want to come stand up here? Bailey, any shout-outs?
Yeah, my partner who's traveling home from LA today, and I hope he's safe on the plane right now.
Here we go, Carbia.
My man Katsuhiro Tomo, my family, and to top it off, oh yeah, you guessed it, Akira Toriyama, creator of Dragon Ball.
Here we go, all the shout-outs.
You guessed it.
DIWHY. It's time for DIWHY. Oh, why are we even alive? It's time for D. Let's end the show. Yeah. Give me a drum roll. Just hit something. Yeah. Fucking end the show. End the show, Justin.